as any other weapons, which in the history has been highly regulated. All the items.
Like what, machine guns, 50 caliber machine guns, 60 big, and just machine guns with bullets that long?
That would fall, it depends on when it's manufactured. NFA does apply to machine guns, but it is a restricted pool of machine guns that were cut off in 1984. So it's a very small, restricted area.
But it's a machine gun, and the caliber could reach how big? What's the
50 caliber, sir.
50. That's a pretty nasty weapon, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Anything?
Yeah, I've shot one a couple of times.
Most of the rifles are open freely market. 50 BMG is available without any.
Why do you think local municipalities, sheriffs, being the chief law enforcement, why do you think they were infused in this process?
The National Firearms Act was originally passed in 1934. At the time, computers did not exist. There was no such thing as a NICS check. There were not background checks. This was the administration's way of...
Which administration?
The Roosevelt administration.
Ooh, the Roosevelt administration. It's not the Obama administration now, it's the Roosevelt administration.
1934.
I got you. Okay. Okay, so why do you think they infused local informant? Just because there were no computers?
This was their way to conduct a background check. This was the equivalent.
Did it ever dawn on you maybe some of the sheriffs deny because they're afraid of the damage that it could do to some of their officers? And we make this assumption that just because you got a license or a concealed handgun that you don't go astray. You don't never commit a crime. You are impugned for making a crime. You've been blessed and you just totally, would it ever dawn on you maybe they're concerned about, one, their safety of their officers because they know the damage that some of this stuff causes? Some of the penetration vest you might not have a vest on for some of this stuff. Did that maybe figure into the equation?
You can currently purchase a 50 caliber.
I know what you can purchase. I know what you can purchase, but it's a mechanism, another safety mechanism to ensure that these licenses and these transfers gets in the right hands of the people. And the contradictory I hear in some of this stuff is the same people who are opposed to federal government and say push it down to the locals, now saying the locals are not equipped and they use political backlash. You can't have it both ways.
No, sir, but we're talking about something that's 80 years old.
Well, it's 80 years old, but it's been in the process for a reason. It's a part of the process, a safety net, if you would, something to ensure, because who knows the people in those communities, ATF agents or the sheriffs? Who knows them better?
Again, one thing that I would like to point out and reiterate is the step in the process that local law enforcement is supposed to undertake. I certify that I am the chief.
Well, you don't have to explain that to me. I got that. I'm asking the questions, and don't spoon feed me. Give me what I asked for, or just so you don't know.
Do you mind if I answer that question?
Go at it.
This bill is not to force the sheriffs into signing yes. This is to have the sheriffs say yes or no. So if they feel that there is a problem and that individual should not own it, then absolutely in the bill it allows for that. And
well, but initially when this bill was brought up, it was about political discrimination and everything else. That was the concept that you brought this, the premise that this bill was brought, because the sheriffs are evil, and some of them, not all of them, not the one in East Baton Rouge, but some of them are very, very unscrupulous and do things that just not right. It's not American. It's not what you want them to do when you want them to do it.
I think there's some individuals in these positions that are utilizing it, either sitting on it because they don't want the liability, or they may not want to sign off.
And they might be afraid of what would happen to some of their people in the public, and particularly their officers. Thank you, Mr. Thank you. I'm finished. Done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Landry. Ms. Norton, I still have the opposition to come up, which is the Sheriff's Association, the DA's Association, and the Chiefs. Okay.
before they leave, if that's, you know. Okay.
You're on.
Okay. Thank you very much. What is the time frame now for that signage to happen with the applications? Yes.
In the bill states 15 days. And,
No, I mean, not in the bill, before the bill, the present.
there's no time. They never
there's
have
no
to sign. They could look at you and throw your application in the trash can.
But why is it that there is a rush for 15 days?
Well, I'm certainly open to entertain. If they don't feel that's an appropriate amount of time to respond, I'm certainly willing to amend it to some appropriate time frame that they feel they could get that job done in.
I believe that time frame comes from the 7 other states that have similar bills. They use a time frame between 14 and 15 days.
So we're basically working out for other states today, am I correct?
Well, as a model.
Or as a model.
As a template, just to,
and I believe I heard the statement from the young man on the end that it doesn't matter what Washington do, as long as we get. What was the statement you made about what Washington do? Because I'm understanding that there are still federal laws as we make laws here.
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
state of
And
Louisiana.
this does not change any federal laws or any federal proposed rule change, which I was addressing. Basically, what I was talking about is the notice for proposed rulemaking known as docket number ATF 41P, which seeks to amend the transfer of NFA items, the transfer of manufacture. It's a politically motivated step to try and prohibit the transfer of NFA items. It's an ideological step that I think the state of Louisiana would be good to preserve the liberties of their citizens.
So it doesn't matter who answers. You all think today that the best way for Louisiana to survive would be through that list of guns that you just made reference to, and this would be the only way that we could, I'm assuming, save our lives and protect ourselves with these type of guns. Other than that, then we would be putting ourselves in harm's way. Is that correct?
If these for recreational purposes.
Recreational purposes?
Recreational purposes is what this is typically used for, and we're actually about to pass, or hopefully pass legislation that also opens up not only for varmint hunting that we currently allow, but for also regular hunting as well.
And tell me, and I don't know that much about hunting, but with these type of guns that I just heard you make mention, tell me, what are you trying to kill out there?
Oh, well, you can shoot deer. A lot of people use...
you would need a deer. You would need all these types to kill a deer.
Well, people use suppressors for hunting because if you're in the woods and someone shoots, it could interfere with maybe another stand. You know, I'm not a hunter either, and so I don't know the strategy, but it can have an impact.
And you all feel that the sheriff department is not doing a good job or not moving as fast as you all would like for them to move, and you all want to bring a bill to put some fire, did you know, up under them?
No,
is that what
we're
this
basically
is about?
saying that unless the sheriff has a reason that an individual, a law-abiding citizen, shouldn't, or an individual should not possess, then they need to sign the document. That's kind of the intent of the document, I believe, but it's always had that loophole where the sheriff don't have to do anything.
And you think it's so important that we tie their hands and we tell them how to do their jobs, and say, well, let me finish.
Yes,
let me finish. And we say, we're only going to give you 15 days. And that's it. So if you're not going to comply with what we ask, then we're going to come up with a bill to force you to do whatever it is, even though it may put you all in danger. Is that what you all saying that we need to do?
Paper, I've never known to cause anybody any harm. But
well, I would think that they would, because I don't think they have these type of guns, do they?
Pardon?
Do they have these type? I'm just asking the question because I don't know.
Okay.
Do they?
Absolutely, yes.
The sheriffs have all these type of guns, y'all?
Absolutely.
Really? Wow. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. I want to take the politics out of the decision-making
You
process.
can't do that because he just got through talking about Washington.
Right. He mentioned Washington because there was a rule change that really spurred the
He said, don't worry about what Washington do.
No.
That's what he said.
There was a rule change on not allowing trusts to circumvent the CLEO process, which has been done for a very long time. It allowed areas where the sheriff would not sign, they could create a trust for the purpose of owning the suppressor as an entity, and that circumvented the need to have CLEO sign off. Am I correct?
Would you all be
there was
willing?
a rule change, and now they have to still, even if you put it in a trust, you still need to have the Clio sign off. But what we're trying to do is simply make the sheriffs,
Make the sheriff, that's right.
Yeah,
You said the right word. Make the sheriffs.
Their
Would
duty
you all,
is to uphold the law and not to play
hadn't been
politics
passed yet.
or make policy decisions on
Would-
what they feel is right or not right for law-abiding citizens to own.
would you all be willing to defer this till you get with the sheriffs and see?
They're never
if they're-
going to be okay with this. So there's.
And the reason they're never going to be is your feel is what?
Pardon?
Your feel is they're never going to be is what? What's the reason you think they
I met
never
with the
gonna
Sheriff's Association and the state police prior to me even making the bill public. I wanted to have their feedback and I figured they may object to it, okay, but nonetheless, out of respect, I brought them to the table to have the conversation, and so I certainly respect some of their concerns, but I don't believe they're valid concerns.
be? And may I?
Now, let me ask you this: if
Okay, go ahead.
there are sheriffs, okay, who refuse to sign, largely refuse to sign in their areas. However, ask them if their friends have suppressors or if they have suppressors. Okay, and what it comes to in some instances is it's a who you know, and that's why I want to take the politics out of this. As a legislative body, I'm sure all of y'all know we strive to make laws that are fair and equitable for everyone, and we have a process that allows for political insertion, and it doesn't make it fair for everyone equally, and that's all I'm wanting to do is have a fair, equal process. Laws have changed now recently, and that's why he mentioned Washington. Okay, so we have a different situation now, so we're trying to make it fair for everybody in Louisiana.
Do you not think that all of us are this is politics right here when you say take the politic out? And my other question is, when you talk to them, were you talking to them in the sense of telling them what to do, or were you talking to them in the sense of trying to work out a situation? Which one were you doing?
I was letting them know the piece of legislation I was intending to bring, and I was letting them know what my intentions were to bring the legislation, and they said that they appreciate me bringing it before them and letting them know, and that they would go before their members and see if it's something they would support, be neutral, or have to oppose.
And this is my last question. Do you not think that what you're doing here today is telling them what to do and not working with them to work out an issue of this magnitude?
This is how we work out those issues through
But
the
this
legislative process.
is not working out an issue with them. This is telling them, attempting to tell them what to do because they are not doing what you all would like for them to do. That's what it looks like to me.
All we're doing is asking for a response. If they feel that the individual is in danger to the public or in danger to their men, that they have the right to say no. All we ask is that they provide that just cause, and say, I feel that this person would be in danger, or if they don't have that cause, then go ahead and sign on and allow it. You mentioned of whose lives would be affected, who's in danger. Well, the 106 companies that do make NFA items
are making money.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
we also
they're making money.
employ thousands of people. I employ 31 people here in Baton Rouge. Lipsy's employs over 75. And the lifeblood of our industry are these NFA items, and we're being restricted in the market of who we can sell to in our own home state.
And as fast as they sign off, you all can continue to make more money and more money and more money. And at the end of the day, you all are interested in making money.
Well,
That's why you
absolutely.
all are here today.
Absolutely. The state
About
budget.
making money
Absolutely.
with selling guns and selling sounds.
Sure. Also, the tax dollars that we pay, the payroll taxes that we pay, go to help support the state budget for everybody else. Yes, ma'am.
And how much is that a year?
It's in just the state, it's in the $1 billion range.
In the billion a year? On
Very-
behalf of guns?
all contractors, government contracts that provide the weapons to the military. The civilian market is a tremendous growing market that is providing a lot of tax dollars and a lot of jobs.
And you all purpose today is to come and introduce the bill, Representative Ivey, and then turn around and tell the sheriffs